Hello, you're watching Sightline. Today our guest is the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, His Excellency Munkhjin Batsumber. So, Munkhjin Batsumber, thank you very much for coming. Today we're talking about the diplomatic relations between Mongolia and Russia. So this year marks the 100th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relations between our two countries. So what notable events have been carried out to celebrate the anniversary?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. It's really a pleasure to be with you. This year, as you rightly said, we are celebrating 100 years of anniversary of the diplomatic relations between Mongolia and Russia. And it is our first diplomatic relations with a foreign country.
Yes.
And it is indeed an important one. We jointly with our Russian friends, we planned 92 events together, and these events are being celebrated in Mongolia and also in Russia, including joint symposium on how our diplomatic relations and how our relations between our two people have been in the past 100 years, and reflecting what's been the achievements and successes, or what's been the collaboration between our two people, between our two countries, and also celebration of the opening of a new mark on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. And joint events and celebrations in Mongolia and in Moscow, in Ulaanbaatar, in Irkutsk, etc., etc.
Thank you. So you said 92 events have been organized to celebrate the anniversary. So
throughout the year.
Yes. So could you tell us what's the significance of the number 92, and also how many of them are celebrated in Mongolia and how many are celebrated in Russia?
Well, as I said, joint celebrations have been taking place throughout the year,
yes,
including the ceremony of postal stamps on the occasion of this important celebration, joint symposiums, and it also included high-level visits to both sides. For instance, we hosted Deputy Prime Minister Khurelsukh to Mongolia. We received the Deputy Speaker Kosachev to Mongolia this month, etc., etc. And by the end of this year, we will be having presidential visit to Moscow to have a bilateral meeting between Mongolian President Mr. Khurelsukh and Russian President Mr. Putin.
Okay. So also adding to the high-level visits, recently, earlier this month, you visited Moscow, Russia, and had a meeting with your Russian counterpart, Igor Murgulov. And so what was the purpose and outcome of the visit?
Well, it was really a fruitful and also important meeting. I visited Moscow on 12th of November, and I had a bilateral meeting with Deputy Foreign Minister Mr. Morgulov, and we had an excellent meeting. The result was two important things. First, to highlight the importance of our bilateral relations, our 100 years anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations, and second, to prepare for the official visit of Mongolian President Mr. Khurelsukh to Moscow.
Speaking of presidential meeting, you've said that Mongolian president will be making an official visit to Russia and meeting the Russian president. So what preparations have been carried out?
Well, usually the standard procedure is the two foreign ministries prepare for the high-level visits, and as part of this preparation, I visited Moscow and had a meeting with Deputy Foreign Minister Morgulov, and we discussed from protocol organization to the to content of the visit. What would be the results out of our two presidents' visit meeting? What would be the arrangements? What would be the the documents to sign between our two countries. For instance, as part of the visit, there will be a number of important documents to be signed. For instance, there will be joint declaration on the occasion of 100th years and anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and Russia. There will be memorandum of understanding between relevant government organizations, for instance, two customs organizations, etc., etc. And during this president's visit, it will take place mid-December.
Mid-December. And how many days, or is it one-day visit?
It is an official visit, and depending on the meetings, it will be decided whether it will be 2 days visit or whether it will be 1 day visit. But we are expecting 2 to 3 days visit to Moscow, depending on the meetings. But what is clear is that there will be, of course, bilateral meetings between the two presidents, and also there will be separate meetings between ministers level. As part of the delegation, we will include cabinet ministers in the delegation.
Could you name some of the members?
Well,
ministers?
Those ministers will be Minister for Agriculture, Minister for Transportation, Energy. Of course, the foreign minister would be there. Transportation, energy, agriculture, mining, for instance. The energy collaboration between our two countries is really high and a really important one. The gasoline import from Russia is an important subject between our two countries. That's why our mining minister will be there. So those ministers will be having separate parallel meetings with their counterparts and with their partners in Moscow.
So this will be the biggest high-level visit from Mongolia to Russia, between our two countries.
Yes, of course the president's visit is always an important visit, and also we're having difficulties of COVID pandemic, and over the past 1 or 2 years all international visits and exchanges have been reduced due to the restrictions by the COVID. So we are trying to intensify our international relations by having outbound visits to our partner countries.
Exactly. So over the past century, 100 years, both countries have worked together to overcome common challenges and have successfully strengthened the friendly relations. So how would you assess the current relations between our two countries?
I am very much satisfactory with the level we have between our two countries, and it is indeed the highest level of our relations, foreign relations. It's called Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. We are only having this level of partnership. We only have 2 countries in it: Russian Federation and People's Republic of China. And we are enjoying highest level of partnership between our two countries. And over the past century, over the past 100 years, we've been together many difficulties and challenges together. Our Russian friends helped us to regain our independence. They helped us to fight against foreign intervention. They helped us join United Nations as a full member state in the United Nations. And in fact, we are celebrating 60th anniversary of the membership of Mongolia's accession to the United Nations, for instance. And they helped us to modernize our agriculture, our heavy industries, our economy, apartment buildings, education, culture. All of them are, what we are today is simply thanks to our Russian friends. So this year is really a time to say thank you to our Russian friends, to our Russian people, Russian government.
Absolutely. So, but the next question is, what are the challenges in enhancing our bilateral cooperation?
Of course, international relations is a sensitive and complicated affairs. There can be many challenges ahead of us, but the history shows us that we jointly together overcame these any difficulties in front of us successfully together. There might be challenges ahead of ourselves, but I'm 100% sure that together with our Russian friends and together with our international partners, we can overcome any challenge ahead of us.
Okay, so we've talked about how Russia assisted Mongolia and helping with our independence and developing our infrastructure and lots of things, but also how Mongolia assisted the Russia. It should be the collaboration from both sides, right?
Well, international relations and also bilateral relations is two-way street. It is not about one helping another all the time, the another one is not helping the other side. It has to be win-win situation. It has to be mutually supportive of each other. That on this principle, our bilateral relations or our international relations can last successfully and stable. Over the 100 years' time, it is. I think it's not proper for me to tell how we supported Russia, and I think it is in fact up to them to tell how Mongolia supported Russia during the difficult times, during the wars, etc., etc.
Okay.
But in general, we had an excellent international level cooperation. We supported each other on international arena, for instance, at the United Nations General Assembly on any particular subject, on adopting resolutions at the United Nations, etc., etc. On candidature of Russia's candidature to an international organization, or either it is Mongolia's candidature to international organization, we always supported each other.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much. And could you elaborate on the content of the talks between the two countries' presidents?
The priority number one is the fact that we just had a new president, new head of state, and it is important to have our high level, or actually to have our presidents to have an excellent understanding and personal confidence in each other. This is in fact really important matter to, for instance, Russian presidents knowing Mongolia's priorities and activities and goals, what this country is trying to do. It is really a good opportunity for Mongolia to explain ourselves, introduce what our plans, for instance, what the new president's ambition and goals in over the 6 years term. For instance, climate change agenda for our president, and he's been very active and focused on preventing the desertification, for instance, deforestation, and there are wide area of collaboration potentials in our bilateral relations in the area of fight against climate change. So this will be an important and crucial opportunity for both of our countries to really have the common understanding and common opinion on some of the important matters between our countries.
Okay, so what is the future perspectives of our two countries' relations? What do you expect to happen in the future? And what are your plans?
Indeed, we are living in an uncertain world.
Yes.
Anything can happen. No one predicted COVID-19 will occur.
And it happened.
But it happened.
Yes.
So what is important is to have the understanding and confidence between our partners, between our international friends. Therefore, what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is doing is to contribute, to facilitate, to have political high-level understanding and confidence between our foreign partners and friends.
Okay.
So, for instance, with the Russian Federation, we have a common position on many international issues. On international level, at the UN level, we work well together. We support each other on the international level, on the voting, etc., etc.
Okay, Mr. Deputy Minister, could you tell us what latest activities that have implemented by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, besides the diplomatic anniversaries, that you would like to highlight?
It is a really significant year for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We are celebrating 110th anniversary of the modern diplomatic service in Mongolia.
Modern.
This diplomatic service played an important role of Mongolia's independence and sovereignty. This diplomatic service played really crucial role in the modernization of this country, bringing international investment, bringing international support to the development and the prosperity of Mongolia. And it is all thanks to the excellent collaboration and excellent foreign relations between Mongolia and international partners. Also, this year we need to look ahead of ourselves and plan how we can overcome the difficulties occurred during this COVID pandemic. Post-COVID world, we need to intensify our international relations. We need to intensify our international outreach. Because of that, we will need to work on bringing more international foreign investment and international support to the Mongolia's domestic economy. How we can jump back after the COVID-19. It really needs the assistance and support from international partners.
Clearly. So thank you very much, Deputy Minister Munkhjin, and our time is actually coming to an end, unfortunately. So is there anything that you would like to elaborate on?
Well, we sadly have been restricted international environment because of the COVID-19, and this is really affecting Mongolia on our borders, on our flows of goods, and etc. So now Ministry of Foreign Affairs is really focusing on how we can contribute to the development of this country. In fact, one important role for diplomatic service of Mongolia is contribute to the prosperity and development of this country, from to have a favorable and pleasant environment, external environment to Mongolia. In this regard, we are working closely with our Chinese counterparts, our Chinese friends, and with our Russian friends. At the same time, we are having good relations with our so-called third neighbors, the US, the countries of the EU, and Turkey, Japan, South Korea, etc., etc. This is really a time to intensify our international relations so that it can contribute to the development and prosperity of this country.
We really appreciate that you have come to our studio and talked to us.
It was really a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You've watched Sightline. Today our guest was Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, His Excellency Mr. Munkhjin Batsumber. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.